basically the lesson of this episode is you have to be honest with yourself. This is part of what self-honesty is about, part of what introspection is about. And really, this is part of spirituality here, is if you have materialistic cravings, be honest about what those are. If you've been living your whole life in poverty and what you really crave is to just have some financial freedom and to be able to buy a nice car and to be able to, pay for your kids so that you don't have to keep making excuses to them for why you can't buy them the kind of gifts they want for Christmas or whatever. Or you want to buy yourself some nice clothes that you normally wouldn't have been able to afford, but you want to treat yourself materially to these things, then that's where you're at in life. Be careful trying to pretend that you're more spiritual or more detached than you really are. The reality is that you have those cravings and desires. Those are your particular attachments. We might say that's your karma. And that's now something you got to deal with. And you need a realistic strategy for how to deal with that. So there's really, the question here is, what are the strategies for dealing with cravings and desires? Ultimately, what we want to do with low consciousness or sort of base animalistic cravings and desires is the materialistic ones, is we want to exhaust them. And as we exhaust them or transcend them, and there might be multiple ways of doing that, I'll talk about that in a second, then what we want to do is we want to transcend those to reach higher kinds of desires. So a base desire might just be having a lot of money or getting a lot of one-night stands. And then if you exhaust that, you can transcend to deeper and higher quality desires, like the desire to be creative, for example, or artistic, or the desire to have free time just to meditate and introspect or to do philosophy. And then you could even transcend those into even higher desires, right? Ultimately, if you transcend everything, you're gonna reach the desire for total selflessness. That will be your highest desire. So the more you transcend selfishness and materialism, the more purified your psyche becomes and your consciousness, and the more your desires shift towards helping others, towards communion with others, towards a deep intimacy with other, towards a merging of self and other, towards becoming more selfless and more loving and more godlike, until eventually you become metaphysical love, you become God. The problem, though, is trying to get there too quickly without deeply exploring and exhausting, burning through the karma that you have. Because there's a tendency to want to kind of like leapfrog all that stuff and just get to the top of the pyramid, so to speak.